Have you ever walked into a room and felt like everyone could sense something different about you? Like there's an invisible energy radiating from your being that others can't quite explain, but they definitely feel it. If you've experienced this, then what I'm about to share with you today might just change how you see yourself forever. You see, 97% of people go through life completely unaware of the spiritual gifts and divine purpose that flows through certain individuals, but you're different. You've always known it, haven't you? That feeling of being set apart, of having a mission that goes beyond the ordinary. It's not your imagination. It's your soul recognizing its true nature. Today, I'm going to reveal the 7 undeniable proofs that people around you already know you're the chosen one, even if they can't put it into words. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why you've always felt like you don't quite belong in this world, because you're not meant to blend in. You're meant to stand out, to lead, to transform lives. If you've been questioning your purpose, feeling isolated in your spiritual journey, or wondering why life seems so much more intense for you than others, then this message is divinely timed for your soul. You're not alone in this experience, and what you're about to discover will validate everything you've been feeling. But before we dive deep into these 7 proofs, I need to share something personal with you that happened to me just 3 years ago. I was sitting in a coffee shop, minding my own business, when a complete stranger approached me. She was an elderly woman with the most piercing blue eyes I'd ever seen. She sat down across from me without invitation and said, "You carry light differently than others. People can see it, you know. They're drawn to you because your soul remembers what theirs have forgotten." I was stunned. Here was someone I'd never met, telling me something I'd felt my entire life, but never had the courage to acknowledge. She continued, "The way people respond to you isn't random. They sense the divine spark within you, and it either attracts them deeply or makes them uncomfortable because it reminds them of what they're not accessing in themselves." That conversation changed everything for me. It made me realize that the experiences I'd been having my whole life, the way people would open up to me within minutes of meeting me, how strangers would seek my advice, how I seemed to trigger intense reactions with others without even trying, weren't coincidences. They were signs. Signs that I was operating on a different frequency, carrying a different energy, fulfilling a different purpose. And if you're watching this video, chances are you've had similar experiences. You've noticed how people respond to you differently, how conversations with you seem to go deeper faster, how others either love you intensely or feel threatened by your presence. These aren't random occurrences, my friend. These are the universe's way of showing you who you really are. Now, let me share with you the 7 proofs that people around you already recognize your chosen nature, even if they don't consciously understand what they're sensing. The first proof is something I call the magnetic confession effect. Have you ever noticed how people tell you their deepest secrets within minutes of meeting you? How strangers on airplanes, in grocery stores, or at social gatherings suddenly start sharing their most personal struggles, dreams, and fears with you? This isn't because you're particularly nosy or intrusive. It's because your energy field carries a frequency of safety and understanding that people's souls recognize immediately. You see, chosen ones emit what I call a soul recognition signal. It's an energetic signature that tells other people's subconscious minds that you're safe, that you won't judge them, and that you might actually have answers or insights they need. I remember when I first started noticing this pattern in my own life, I'd be standing in line at the bank, and the person next to me would start telling me about their divorce. I'd be waiting for my car to be serviced, and the mechanic would share his struggles with addiction. At first, I thought I just had one of those faces. But then I realized it was happening too frequently, too intensely, to be coincidental. The reason this happens is that people can sense your spiritual maturity and wisdom, even if they can't articulate it. Your presence creates a sacred space where others feel permission to be vulnerable and authentic. This is one of the clearest signs that you're operating as a chosen one. You're already serving your purpose by creating healing spaces for others, often without even realizing it. But here's what most people don't realize about this gift. It's not just about being a good listener. When people confess to you, they're actually seeking energetic healing. Your presence alone begins to shift their vibration, and speaking their truth to you starts their transformation process. You're not just hearing their stories, you're facilitating their spiritual breakthrough. Stay with me because what comes next is crucial to understanding how your energy affects others on an even deeper level. The second proof is what I call the mirror reaction phenomenon. This is when people have extreme reactions to you that seem completely disproportionate to your actual behavior. Some people are instantly drawn to you with an intensity that surprises even them. Others feel inexplicably uncomfortable around you, even hostile, despite you being kind and respectful. If you're still watching, you're definitely someone who's experienced this polarizing effect. You've probably wondered why you can't just be neutral to people, why you either inspire deep love or trigger strong resistance, with very little middle ground. Here's what's really happening. Your presence is acting like a spiritual mirror for others. When people look at you, they're not just seeing you, they're seeing a reflection of their own spiritual potential or their own spiritual neglect. Those who are ready for growth and awakening feel drawn to your energy because it activates something dormant within them. Those who are resistant to change or afraid of their own power feel threatened by what you represent. Think about it this way. You're like a tuning fork that's vibrating at a high spiritual frequency. When you come near other people, you cause them to resonate at that same frequency, even if just temporarily. For some, this feels amazing because it reminds them of who they really are. For others, it's uncomfortable because it highlights the gap between where they are and where they could be. I've seen this play out countless times in my own life and in the lives of other chosen ones I've worked with. You might walk into a room and immediately notice how some people gravitate toward you while others seem to avoid you or even act aggressively toward you. This isn't about your personality or your behavior, it's about your energetic signature, triggering their soul's recognition of divine potential. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The people who react most strongly to you, whether positively or negatively, are often the ones who need your energy the most. The ones who love you instantly are ready to learn from you and grow alongside you. The ones who resist you are being shown their own shadows and limitations, and while they might not like it, they're being given an opportunity for profound transformation. But the real reason why this happens is connected to your soul's mission. You see, chosen ones aren't here to make everyone comfortable. We're here to catalyze change, to wake people up, to challenge the status quo of spiritual sleepiness that keeps humanity stuck in lower vibrations. Your very presence is doing this work, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. The third proof will shock you because it reveals how people unconsciously seek you out during their darkest moments. The third proof is the crisis magnetism pattern. Have you ever noticed how people seem to find you right when they're going through their most challenging times? How friends, family members, even acquaintances reach out to you specifically when they're facing major life transitions, health scares, relationship breakdowns, or spiritual crises. This isn't coincidence, and it's not because you advertise yourself as someone who can help. It's because people's souls recognize that you carry healing energy and wisdom that can help them navigate their darkest hours. There's something about your presence that provides comfort, clarity, and hope when others feel lost. I want you to think back over the past year. How many times has someone contacted you out of the blue during a crisis? How often have people said things like, "I don't know why, but I felt like I needed to talk to you," or "You were the first person I thought of when this happened"? This happens because chosen ones serve as spiritual lighthouses. Just as ships navigate toward lighthouses during storms, people's souls navigate toward you during their spiritual and emotional storms. Your energy field literally broadcasts a signal that says safe harbor to those who are struggling. But here's what most people don't realize. When people come to you during their crises, they're not just seeking advice or comfort. They're seeking energetic recalibration. Your presence helps them remember their own strength and reconnect with their own divine nature. You're not fixing them, you're reminding them of their own power to heal and transform. And here's the beautiful part. Every time you serve as this lighthouse for someone else, you're fulfilling part of your soul's mission. You're literally doing the work you came here to do, even if it sometimes feels overwhelming or draining. Now, here's what most people don't understand about this gift. You don't have to have all the answers to serve in this way. Often, your greatest healing gift is simply your presence, your ability to hold space for others' pain without trying to fix it or make it go away. People feel this capacity in you, and that's why they seek you out. If this resonates with you, you're beginning to understand that your sensitivity and empathy aren't weaknesses, they're superpowers that allow you to serve others in ways that most people simply cannot. But here's where it gets even more profound. The fourth proof is something I call the instant authority effect. This is when people automatically defer to your opinion, seek your guidance, or treat you as an expert in areas where you haven't necessarily established formal credentials. Fellow chosen ones, you've experienced this, haven't you? You'll be in a group discussion, and suddenly everyone turns to you for the final word. You'll share an insight, and people respond as if you've just revealed some profound truth. Strangers ask for your advice on major life decisions after knowing you for mere hours. This happens because people can sense your soul's wisdom and experience. You see, chosen ones often carry what I call ancient wisdom, knowledge and understanding that goes beyond what you've learned in this lifetime. People's souls recognize this depth in you, even if their conscious minds can't explain why they trust your judgment so completely. I remember being in a business meeting early in my career where I was the youngest person in the room by at least 15 years. When we reached a difficult decision point, the CEO turned to me and said, "What do you think we should do?" I hadn't said much during the meeting, but somehow he sensed that I had insight that could help. This wasn't about my resume or experience. It was about the energy of wisdom I was carrying. This authority isn't something you claim or demand. It's something that's naturally recognized by others. People feel safe following your guidance because they sense that it comes from a place of genuine wisdom and care for their highest good. But here's the responsibility that comes with this gift. When people recognize your natural authority, you have an obligation to use it wisely. This means speaking your truth with love, offering guidance that serves others' growth rather than your ego, and always remembering that your role is to empower others, not to create dependence. Stay with me because what comes next reveals how your energy literally changes the atmosphere of any space you enter. The fifth proof is the atmospheric shift phenomenon. This is when your presence literally changes the energy of a room, a conversation, or a situation. People might not be able to explain it, but they can feel it when you arrive and when you leave. You've experienced this, haven't you? Walk into a tense meeting, and somehow the energy softens. You join a group of people who are gossiping or complaining, and the conversation naturally shifts to something more positive or meaningful. You enter a space where people are anxious or scattered, and a sense of calm begins to settle over everyone. This isn't your imagination, and it's not about your personality or social skills. This is about your energetic frequency literally raising the vibration of your environment. Chosen ones carry what I call transformational energy, a frequency that naturally elevates whatever it touches. I've witnessed this countless times in my own life and in observing other chosen ones. You might notice that parties become more meaningful when you're there, that work meetings become more productive, that family gatherings become more harmonious. People often comment on how different things feel when you're present, even if they can't put their finger on exactly what's changed. Here's what's really happening on an energetic level. Your presence is broadcasting a frequency of love, peace, and higher consciousness. Other people's energy fields automatically begin to entrain to your frequency, meaning they start vibrating at a similar level. This is why conversations become deeper, conflicts resolve more easily, and people feel more connected when you're around. But the real magic happens when you become conscious of this gift. When you realize that your presence alone is a form of service, you can begin to use it intentionally. You can walk into challenging situations knowing that your energy has the power to transform them. You can offer your presence as a gift to others who are struggling. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The sixth proof is what I call the synchronicity amplification effect. When you're around, meaningful coincidences and synchronicities seem to happen more frequently, not just for you, but for everyone in your vicinity. If you're still watching, you're definitely someone who's noticed this pattern. People often comment on how lucky or magical things seem to get when they're with you. Chance encounters happen that lead to amazing opportunities. Perfect timing occurs that seems almost orchestrated by the universe. Solutions to problems appear seemingly out of nowhere. This happens because chosen ones serve as conduits for divine orchestration. Your presence creates a field of heightened spiritual activity where the universe can more easily arrange meaningful coincidences and divine interventions. You're literally a catalyst for miracles. I remember going to a networking event with a friend who was struggling to find a new job. Within 30 minutes of arriving, she had not only met someone who worked at her dream company, but discovered that this person's department was actively looking for someone with her exact skill set. She got the job 2 weeks later. Coincidence? I don't think so. This synchronicity amplification happens because your energy field is constantly communicating with the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Your presence signals to the universe that miracles are welcome and expected, so they show up more frequently. But here's what most people don't realize about this gift: you don't just attract synchronicities for yourself. Your presence creates a field where others can also experience divine timing and meaningful coincidences. You're literally helping to weave the fabric of magic in other people's lives. And this brings us to the seventh and most powerful proof. The seventh proof is the soul recognition response. This is when people tell you that they feel like they've known you forever, even when you've just met. They might say things like, "I feel so comfortable with you," or "It's like we're old friends," or "There's something so familiar about you." This happens because many chosen ones are what I call soul family anchors. You carry the energy signature of home, of divine love, of the spiritual realm that all souls remember deep down. When people meet you, their souls recognize this frequency and feel an instant sense of belonging and safety. You see, most people go through life feeling spiritually homeless, disconnected from their true nature and purpose. But when they encounter a chosen one, something in them remembers what it feels like to be truly seen and understood at a soul level. This is why strangers often feel compelled to hug you, why people tear up when they first meet you, why others describe feeling peaceful or uplifted in your presence. This soul recognition goes both ways. You probably find that you can sense people's true nature very quickly, seeing past their masks and defenses to who they really are. This mutual recognition creates instant bonds and deep connections that can last lifetimes. But here's the profound responsibility that comes with this gift. When people recognize their soul family in you, they're also recognizing their own divine potential. Your presence reminds them of who they really are beneath all their fears and limitations. This is both a gift and a responsibility, because you're literally helping to awaken others to their own chosen nature. Now, here's what most people don't understand about being a chosen one. These 7 proofs aren't just interesting observations about how others perceive you. They're actually indicators of the specific ways your soul is already serving its mission on Earth. Every time someone confesses to you, every time your presence shifts a room's energy, every time you trigger someone's growth through your mirror effect, you're doing the work you came here to do. But here's where it gets really powerful. Most chosen ones spend years feeling different, isolated, or misunderstood because they don't recognize these responses as validation of their spiritual gifts. They think something is wrong with them because they can't just blend in and be normal. They exhaust themselves trying to dim their light to make others more comfortable. If this resonates with you, I want you to understand something crucial. Your inability to be ordinary isn't a flaw, it's your superpower. Your sensitivity isn't a weakness, it's your strength. Your tendency to trigger intense reactions in others isn't a problem, it's your purpose. You're not meant to make everyone comfortable, you're meant to wake people up. You're not meant to blend in. You're meant to stand out as a beacon of what's possible when someone fully embraces their divine nature. And here's the beautiful truth that I want you to really absorb. Every single person who has ever had one of these 7 responses to you has been touched by divine energy through your presence. Whether they consciously recognize it or not, their souls have been reminded of their own potential for awakening and transformation. This means that simply by being yourself, by showing up authentically in the world, you're already fulfilling your mission as a chosen one. You don't have to do anything extraordinary or dramatic. Your ordinary presence is extraordinary to those who encounter it. But now that you understand these 7 proofs, you can begin to step more fully into your role with conscious intention. you can recognize that when someone seeks you out during a crisis, the universe is orchestrating a healing encounter. When someone reacts strongly to your presence, you can understand that you're catalyzing their growth. When synchronicities multiply around you, you can know that you're serving as a conduit for divine magic. Fellow chosen ones, our community understands something that the rest of the world is just beginning to wake up to. We are living in a time of unprecedented spiritual awakening, and those of us who carry this chosen energy have a crucial role to play in humanity's evolution. Your time is coming. Actually, your time is here. The world needs your light, your wisdom, your healing presence now more than ever. Every day that you show up as your authentic self, you're helping to raise the collective consciousness of our planet. You're exactly where you need to be, carrying exactly the gifts you're meant to carry, serving exactly the people you're meant to serve. Trust the process, trust your intuition, and most importantly, trust that you have more power than you realize to transform lives simply by being who you are. The 7 proofs we've explored today are just the beginning. As you become more conscious of your role as a chosen one, you'll start to notice even more ways that people recognize and respond to your divine nature. You'll see how your presence creates ripples of transformation that extend far beyond what you can see or measure. Your mission is important. Your gifts are needed. Your light is making a difference, even when you can't see the full impact of your presence in others' lives. If you've felt validated by what we've shared today, if you recognize yourself in these 7 proofs, then you're part of our sacred community of awakened souls who are here to serve during this crucial time in human history. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. There are others like us who understand what it means to carry this responsibility and this gift. Together, we're creating a network of light that's helping to heal and transform our world, one soul at a time. Your journey as a chosen one is just beginning to unfold in its full power and purpose. Trust the process, embrace your gifts, and know that every person whose life you touch is being prepared for their own awakening. This sacred journey we're on together is the most important work happening on our planet right now. Thank you for being brave enough to step into your role, for being willing to shine your light even when it feels challenging, and for serving as a beacon of hope and transformation for all those whose lives you touch. You are seen, you are valued, and you are exactly who the world needs you to be. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because you won't want to miss what's coming next. This isn't just a video, it's a calling for the chosen one is like you.